Long serpentine queues, people nudging and fighting at the supermarkets to stock essential food items. These are the scenes of panic buying that are being witnessed across China, which is bracing for a fresh surge of Covid-19 outbreak and a long winter season. Army biscuits and luncheon meals are becoming the most searched items online. Rice, soy sauce, chili sauce are trending on Alibaba's e-commerce website, even as vendors are running out of stock. According to reports, the top search on the internet in China reads household stockpile list. Hello everyone, welcome to World of China, a channel to explore the real China. In today's video, we are talking about a recent phenomenal incident, Chinese empty markets in panic caused by a notice from China's Ministry of Commerce. So stay tuned with us and give this video a big thumbs up. A small percentage of my viewers subscribe to my channel, so if you like this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind anytime. No issues are now more important to Beijing than food security. For centuries, China's rulers have fought with the challenges of feeding a large, expanding population. Droughts, floods, and famines feature prominently throughout Chinese history, and rebellions launched by starving farmers toppled numerous imperial dynasties. But the government's latest attempt to head off concerns about pricing and supply appears to be spiraling out of control. A word about stockpiling food from China's Ministry of Commerce sparked panic buying among the public and frenzied online speculation this week. It all started with a notice from China's Ministry of Commerce in November 1st, directing local governments to encourage people to stockpile daily necessities, including vegetables, oils, and poultry to meet the needs of daily life in emergencies. The ministry said, quote, "Families are encouraged to store a certain amount of daily necessities to meet the needs of daily life and emergencies." No reason was given for the notice from the Ministry of Commerce, but it came amid ongoing coronavirus lockdowns and concerns over vegetable supplies after unusually heavy rain damaged crops. The Ministry of Commerce responded by assuring people there was no imminent threat to the food supply, while the state-run Economic Daily newspaper also attempted to calm online speculation by saying the notice intended to make sure people were prepared for lockdowns or quarantine due to new coronavirus outbreaks. The People's Daily newspaper said such notices were not surprising, but that they had come at this time because of issues including a rise in vegetable prices and recent COVID cases. Food prices traditionally rise in China as winter nears, but the price of vegetables has surged in recent weeks because of the extreme weather. The order triggered a heated debate online, with some users speculating that the call to stockpile food was related to the possible outbreak of war with Taiwan, while others are accusing of impending lockdown owing to the fresh COVID outbreak. A piece published on its WeChat channel mentioned, quote, "In the long run, it's also advocating for residents to improve their awareness of emergency management, increase the household reserve of necessary commodities to supplement the national emergency system." This did not stop some shoppers stocking up on cabbage, rice, and flour, while the instructions also pushed up domestic edible oil futures as well as Malaysian palm oil. Long lines were seen at some supermarkets, but many residents said there was no need to purchase more food than normal. The situation has escalated since then. One video posted on Weibo by the state-owned news magazine China News Weekly shows long lines of shoppers at grocery stores in Changzhou, a city in Jiangsu province. Their carts are stacked full of produce and other supplies, while shelves throughout the stores are empty. Supermarkets in various cities around the country saw flour, rice, and other food items flying off the shelves. China needs to feed its 1.4 billion people, around one-fifth of the world's population. The memory of China's Great Famine that swept the country from 1958 to 62 is still seared into the hearts of older generations. It was pressed by Mao Zedong's Great Leap Forward, a radical campaign aimed at turning China into a communist utopia through rapid industrialization and collectivization, but which instead led to the deaths of tens of millions of people. In a turbulent post-coronavirus world, ensuring food security has become an increasingly crucial political priority of Beijing's new development strategy, which relies more on domestic consumption to balance external uncertainties. President Xi Jinping has said that the rice bowl of China must be firmly kept in Chinese hands, meaning the country must ensure absolute safety in the supply of grains. There's nothing whatsoever to confirm any rumors that China is preparing for imminent war. But the online panic does suggest some brewing tension, according to Willie Lam, an adjunct professor in the Department of History at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Now the question arises, what is China doing to protect its food security? China decided to establish national grain stockpiles in 1990 and has now built up a system coordinating central state reserves and local reserves and complementing government and corporate inventories with each other. The country introduced an accountability mechanism combined with detailed assessment criteria in 2015 that require all provincial governors to take full responsibility for local food security. In a bid to protect its limited land resources, Beijing also set a minimum national level for cultivated farmland at 120 million hectares or 297 million acres. The government has also set a target to reach 71.67 million hectares of high-standard farmland by 2025 and then 80 million hectares by 2030, all of which will be used for large-scale mechanical farming to increase crop yields per acre. For the first time, policymakers also set a compulsory target for grain production in the 14th five-year plan released this March. Meanwhile, China has increased its imports of soybeans and corn to ensure self-sufficiency in staple grains, including wheat and rice. In August 2020, Xi asked people not to waste food, which was immediately transformed into a national campaign. Following the period of panic buying in China in November, Qin Yun, an official at the National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration, said total grain reserves were currently sufficient and stocks of wheat and rice continued to increase. Qin said that supply in the domestic grain market was fully guaranteed, with China's annual grain output in 2021 projected to exceed 650 billion kilograms for the seventh consecutive year. He said China's current grain reserves were at a historical high level, while wheat stocks were expanding and sufficient to meet the demand for 18 months. According to him, China was self-sufficient in grain with a supply of staple food safe. The country's food supply has also been strengthened by adequate stocks of rice and flour products, as well as grain and oil processing capabilities. But does China rely on overseas imports to ensure its food security? Moderate imports are a part of China's official strategy on food security, according to a government white paper issued in October 2019. Zheng Guoqiang, a member of the National Food Security Policy Expert Advisory Committee and a professor at Tongji University, said the country has to leverage imports to demand because of a domestic planting shortage of 90 million hectares. At the price of being dependent on foreign soybeans, China can ensure enough land for self-sufficiency in the production of rice and wheat, two major staple crops. China is already the world's largest importer of food. Since 2014, the country's grain imports have remained above 100 million tons. It imported 128.27 million tons of grain during the first 9 months of 2021, up 29.3% from a year earlier. China imported 3.53 million tons of corn in September, up 226.9% from a year ago, while the purchase of foreign wheat dropped 40.4% to 640,000 tons in September. China, though, is still a net exporter of rice, meaning it exports more than it imports. Food prices fell by 5.2% from a year earlier in September 2021, down from a fall of 4.1% in August. This was largely due to the price of pork, staple meat on Chinese plates, falling by 46.9% compared with a year earlier in September. China's huge hog sector is struggling with excess production after millions of small, often first-time pig farmers entered the industry to capitalize on record profits during a swine fever-related shortage. Prices are now hovering below the cost of production, with the government urging farmers to cull their herds. China's top leadership had called for an urgent recovery in the sector following a nationwide outbreak of the deadly African swine fever virus that halved the country's 447 million-strong herd. Profits initially boomed in line with higher pork prices, the country's favorite meat, but surging output and coronavirus-linked demand interruptions have driven down prices by 70% this year, causing heavy producer losses over the past 3 months. More than 2 million small farmers entered the sector last year, according to official data, joining an estimated 20 million small-scale pig producers, while some 16,000 new large-scale farms also began operating. Now, Chinese authorities typically respond to COVID-19 cases by locking down entire communities where they occur, restricting movement in and out of affected areas. The government's commitment to a zero-COVID policy, even as countries around the world reopen and learn to live with the coronavirus, is also likely a factor. Just a single case can push Chinese authorities into action, locking down entire areas and carrying out mass tests or quarantine requirements. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this video, then give this video a big thumbs up and share it. For more exciting videos, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. I'll be back with another exciting video soon. Till then, check out our channel for more exciting videos and stay tuned. Watch Fake and Toxic Foods Proliferate in China, the Food Safety Scandals. The link is in the description below.